Town USA, the mega #1 hit off the Beaten Path album that is available now and has already sold 2 million copies. He is the reigning ACM New Artist of the Year right here in the Rich Eisen Show studio. Justin Moore, good to see you, sir.
Thanks for having me, buddy.
You bet.
It's fun. This is like a pretty sweet man cave here.
You know what?
Awesome.
And you are welcome to it.
Thank you.
Welcome into this. Well, this is our small town USA right here.
This is awesome. I'm thankful that I don't see any Toledo Rocket.
Yeah, you know what?
Or anything around here.
I hope you didn't mind how I pointed that out at the top of the hour.
Hey, it is what it is, man. We, you know, what's the worst part about that game was the fact that we got beat on the line of scrimmage, which is our strong suit generally. So. I don't know. I can only hope that Brett gets into them a little bit this week, and it maybe, makes them pick up the pace. And, at least it wasn't an SEC game. You hate getting beat by a MAC team, but, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
I mean,
you have to just rely on the old football cliche every now and then. And you're tight with Coach Bielema, right?
Yeah, Brett and I met about 2 or 3 years ago. Well, right after he got the job, so I guess it was about 3 years ago now. And it was kind of one of those deals where somebody told him, hey, you need to meet this guy, and me the same thing, and it has developed into a genuine, really, really good friendship. His wife and my wife are friends, and we do stuff together. And, the overall landscape of Arkansas Razorback football is definitely much better than what it was when he got there. So it will be all right. He wasn't too thrilled about Saturday, but
I imagine so. I know. I'm here with Justin Moore, Off the Beaten Path. This is his new CD. Go get it right now here on the Rich Eisen Show. You're from Arkansas. You're a native Arkansan, correct?
I am.
Okay.
I grew up in a little small town of about 300 people in central Arkansas, just south of Little Rock, and moved to Nashville, Tennessee in '02 and lived there for almost 10 years. And my wife and I have 3 daughters, 5, 3, and 1.
Oh, my gosh, you're in the soup.
I'm screwed. I'm absolutely screwed. So.
Well, that's one way to look at it. But, yeah.
It's a lot of weddings to pay for.
That's a lot of estrogen to be around as well, sir.
I just swim around in it at my house.
Yeah, man. 5, 3, and 1.
So that was one of the reasons we decided to move back home, to have a little help from Grandma and Grandpa.
Sure.
So, but we've enjoyed being back home. It's very important for me to make people proud that are around me, my family and friends, but I have a lot of pride in also being from Arkansas, and so it's fun to be back. I just recently had the opportunity, my wife and I, to purchase the land that I grew up on. I bought it from my grandpa, and he bought it from his grandpa years and years ago. So we're building a house there right now. So
That's
it's kind of our own little compound.
Well, how long did it take you to get to the status that you have right now? How long were you kicking around trying to get an album like this and a career like you have right now? Justin?
Not unlike any other person who's sitting in this seat, having been fortunate to have success, it takes a while. You go through struggles, and there's highs and lows. And so I moved to Nashville in 2002, signed my record deal in '07, actually at my wedding reception. I didn't tell my wife that till a year or two later.
Oh, I thought you were breaking news to her right here on the Rich Eisen Show. Okay, that's good.
No, I told her after I felt like it was safe to tell her. But and then that was our first #1 Small Town USA. That was in '09. Mm-hmm. So 7, 8 years after I moved to Nashville, and I wrote the song probably 7, 8 years before it became a hit. So.
That's fantastic.
We've been lucky, man.
Yeah, you are. And, obviously there's assumptions that many people make in sports. When you're from a certain area, you root for a certain team. Obviously, the Razorbacks would be that for you, Justin. And the fact that Jerry Jones is an Arkansas Razorback, and he is a Dallas Cowboys owner. And
does a lot for the school, by the way.
I'm sure he does. Yeah. Now, I think you're setting that up in a way because I'm sort of surprised to hear that you are not a Dallas Cowboys fan, and most decidedly not a Dallas Cowboys fan. Is that a true story?
Yeah, how did they win that game yesterday?
It's a great question.
I still am trying to figure out how the Giants lost that. But, no, as a child, I was a huge Cowboys fan when Aikman and Emmitt Smith and Irvin and all those guys were there. And I don't know why this bothered me so much as a child, but when Jimmy Johnson got fired, I was just so angry that I said, I will never root for him again. and I don't know why that is. I don't know why that bothered me as a child who the coach was.
Was it a Switzer thing? Could that have been that?
No, and then the older I got, I just liked Jimmy Johnson, and then the older I got, I started understanding more the old school Southwest Conference that Arkansas used to be in.
Sure.
And obviously,
That's
Texas was their big rival. And I just decided I'm not going to root for anything from Texas ever again. And so,
wouldn't that be bad for business right now?
I'm fortunate they still root for me a little bit. I like the people there. I don't know. I don't have any logic behind it.
Look, sports can be separated from business because sports is a different emotion. It's a whole different.
And then being from the South, all that we care about, really, is college football.
Sure.
And so I thought, man, I need to. I watched NFL, but I didn't really care. I didn't have a vested interest in.
So, which is your team? If there's any team,
I'm a big Steelers fan now. So, which is again, there's no real logic behind it. I've got a guy who works for me who's from Pittsburgh, big Steelers fan. I love the city, love spending time there, and I just like the way they play football. And the organization is classy. They're generally keep their nose clean, and so over the last 10 years or so, I've got to watch them play pretty good football. So.
Yeah, I'm with the reigning ACM New Artist of the Year, Justin Moore, here on the Rich Eisen Show. So you've had a rough football week then, in other words.
It's not been good. It's not been good. I tell you what, it's these are the weekends where you really gotta dig down deep as a fan. You gotta keep waving the flag, man, in the good times and the bad. I've got a huge Razorback on the back of my tour bus.
Yeah.
That I can't take off. So it's.
No, it is. Come on. Pig suey.
It's right. You got to stick with them, and like I said, I think the Steelers, if they got to find a defense, I mean that defense does not look like a Pittsburgh Steelers defense.
Well, the guy who's been coordinating the defense forever and a day is now in your old neck of the woods in Tennessee.
Yep.
And Dick LeBeau did a number on Jameis Winston yesterday.
I love seeing that, by the way. That was awesome.
Why is that?
Well, I'm not too high on Jameis's antics over the last 3 or 4 years, or year or two, or whatever it's been. So
is that a Florida State thing too?
No, I don't have a problem with Florida State. I just kind of have a problem with him.
Right.
I guess.
Right. And so, did you go to any Titans games when you were there at all?
I went to a couple, but I was living there back when they were pretty good.
Steve McNair was playing quarterback. Our guest that was just on the show before, Jeff Fisher.
We were watching in the green room. I just told my road manager, I said, Tennessee should have never gotten rid of Jeff Fisher. I mean, I think he's a great coach, and it's taken some time to turn that around in St. Louis, but I think they're on the right track.
I think so too. I really think so too. So tell me about this new album, Off the Beaten Path. What this is all about?
Yeah, it's that's our third studio album and our second #1 album in a row, which is just kind of hard to believe. But that album we've had out for about 1.5 years now. Working on a brand new album. I'm tired of the crap that's on that album, so we're working on a new one.
You gotta work a little bit, workshop your way to pitch this thing a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
I like it.
But we've had 2 #1s off of it, which was awesome, and so I'm happy with it. It's probably my favorite album we've recorded.
And you're currently on tour with Brad Paisley?
We are, yeah. It's one of the first tours I did in my career was with Brad, so it's been cool to go back out with him after having a little bit of success and see kind of how the crowds have grown. And he's a great guy, really, really good guy, and obviously incredibly talented. So it's been fun to be out with him.
What's his team? What's Paisley's team?
West Virginia.
Okay.
So it's funny, he years back when he was playing in Little Rock, I wasn't on tour with him at the time, but he set an Arkansas Razorback rug on fire or something.
Oh, my gosh.
So all the people in Little Rock or Arkansas were so furious. I had to kind of come to his defense. It was, it was pretty fun.
You had to broker the peace.
He's a prankster, so that's kind of what he does.
That's a heck of a prank to pull.
So it was.
Oh, my gosh.
It was pretty funny.
But he's Brad Paisley.
He's Paisley.
And you, sir, are Justin Moore. Thank you for coming on this program.
Me,
please come back anytime.
You bet. Thank you so much.
Please keep in touch. This is Justin Moore, at Justin Colmore on Twitter. Go and get Justin Moore, Off the Beaten Path, right now available in stores. Already sold 2 million copies.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.